Well, Wednesday the 23rd of July, just a quick update as to where we are and where we're going. I'm filming this from inside out of the aft port light. We've now left Bear Island well behind, and we're on our way sort of north-northeast. Horrible weather. Well, we have got a following wind, which is something, but for the last 24 hours virtually we've had nothing but thick, wet fog, heavy rain, and it's very chilly. But you come to the Arctic, what do you expect? But the big question is, what are we doing now? So we better come down to the chart here. So there's Bear Island, which we passed yesterday morning, and the plan at the moment is to go up to the northeast and just see how far we can get up the northeast side of the Svalbard group. First target, we've got the island of Hopen here, and then off to the northwest from there is the island of Edgeoya. Big glacier here, which will be interesting if we can get close. The idea is to pass between those two, if possible. All of this is very speculative, I hasten to add. Then we continue up to the northeast, and we come to this little group of islands, which is King Cole's land group. And then, if it's still navigable, I have no idea, then we continue up further to the northeast to Kvitoya, which is the easternmost of the Svalbard group, and pass between that and the Russian island Victoria Island, which is the westernmost of Franz Josef Land. So that's the very rough plan, is to sort of continue on a north-northeasterly track up the east side of the Svalbard group from here where we are now, which is we're just a bit to the north of Bear Island now, somewhere around about here. Bring that back a bit. Okay, so that's the rough plan. Nothing is cast in stone. We'll just keep going until I feel we can't keep going any longer. Well, a quick update. It's Thursday the 24th of July, 21st day at sea. So the good news is that we've now passed 76 degrees north, and we're in 2212 east. The bad news is that we've been hove to for the last 12 hours or so. Since leaving Bear Island, we've had absolutely horrible weather. We've had a following wind from the southwest, which is great superficially, but it's been a very strong wind, 6 to 7, and with really heavy fog for most of the time. And the last thing that I want to do is to be racing to the northeast with a big following sea in fog without any idea what I'm going to meet in the way of ice or anything like that. So I've just put the brakes on for a little while and see where this weather goes. Where we are now, here's the island of Hopen, which is our next sort of target, if you like, and we're down here. We're about 40 miles to the southwest, but as I say, just hove to. We're drifting very gently north at about 1 knot, and really waiting for this weather to change and to get back some visibility. What I don't know, I'll be running through between Hopen here and Edgeoya, through this passage here, but on Edgeoya you've got massive glaciers here. Whether they're carving ice, I don't know. There might be bits coming down to the south. Have no idea whatsoever, and so I can only really proceed once I've got good visibility and an appropriate wind, which is not really a following wind. A wind on the beam or a wind a bit forward of the beam is much safer for this kind of exploration. If we come back to where we are here, then over to the west-northwest, we've actually got the South Cape of Spitsbergen itself, and it's in 2011 that I was just off the coast here and went north up the west coast. And then I've also got there's a big sort of don't know what you call it really, inlet as well between Edgeoya and Barentsoya, but at the moment I'm not prepared to stick my nose in there, but we'll see about that later, perhaps on the way back, depending on how things develop. So there we're kind of stuck in, frankly, pretty horrible bloody weather, cold, foggy, windy. We're in shallow water. I don't know whether you can see the depth there, but sort of 40 metres. We're on the Spitsbergen banks, and it's not particularly pleasant at the moment. So just wait for change in the conditions, and then hopefully we can start moving up between Hopen and Edgeoya and seeing what we find further to the north. Well, here we are at the island of Hopen, southeast Svalbard. We've been incredibly lucky, really. We were lucky to see Bear Island the way we did, and for the 3.5 days since we left Bear Island, the weather has been absolutely terrible. We've had 4, 6 to 7 sou'westerlies, thick fog, heavy rain, and it's taken quite a bit of manoeuvring to get us to this line of approach, but unfortunately we've just been headed at the last minute, so we're being forced away, but maybe we'll find a way back. Very interesting island, this. It's only really when I started looking at it more closely on the chart that I found that actually it's quite an interesting place. It's 18 miles long on a north-east-southwest axis, rather like Jan Mayen, but it's terribly narrow. It's only about 1 mile to 1.5 miles wide at the widest points, but it's got several peaks which are over 1,000 feet, one of which we're looking at right now, the Southern Cape. So I'm looking forward to sailing up the east side again. It was only a couple of hours ago that the back end of that bad weather system finally passed and left us with beautiful blue sky, except just for this bit of cloud over the island, and fabulous sunlight. So maybe after 3 weeks at sea, in just a couple of hours, we will have been at sea for 3 weeks. We're in 76 something north, 76.20 I think. Maybe we've finally broken through into the Arctic high. Well, here's the South Cape of Hopen again through the fog. It's amazing how quickly the sky is changing this morning, going from blue to overcast to foggy to clear. So we're slowly approaching the Cape and the east coast, and hopefully we'll get some bits of shots between the fog which is coming in and out all the time. Well, we're starting to get a view down the whole of the east side of Hopen now. It just seems quite extraordinary. The headland here is like a huge pyramid almost, with these horizontal striations all the way around. And as far as I can see, these horizontal lines, these striations run all the way down the length of the island. All 18 miles of it. Whether it does or not, we'll see as we go. But it really is the most extraordinary geological structure. Don't think I've quite seen anything like it. A little bit reminiscent of some of the northwest Iceland stuff, but it's just such a perfectly formed sort of pyramidal shape, which is really quite impressive.